You see these bridges? I built all these bridges. Nick the bridge builder, they used to call me.
Nobody's ever called you that.
But you suck one dick, just one dick, and now all of a sudden that bridge building goes right out the window.
What movie is that from? I forget.
All of a sudden, you're not Nick the bridge builder no more.
No, you're Nick the cocksucker. That's what happens.
Yeah, that ain't it's all too easy to get that nickname.
Yep. You're just basically one sucked cock away.
Yeah. That's all it takes, buddy.
What movie is that from? Isn't that from a movie?
No, I don't believe it is. I believe it's from a Shinn Show. Brought to you by Ziffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
Brought
of
to you by Ziffs. Thank you.
No cocksucking going on at Ziffs.
Oh, no, sir. Not to our knowledge, anyway. They're not advertising it. All right. Well, are we ready?
Let's do this.
Welcome to a Shinn Show. It's me, Pete Shinn, here in the greater Washington, D.C. area, joined, as always, by my son, Nicholas, in Omaha. Hello, Nick.
Salam and good evening, my friends.
And my daughter, Sarah, in Omaha. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
And beloved wife, Elsie, also here someplace in the house. So, well...
Hola.
Okay, hola. Got it. Welcome. Okay, so let's get right to it, shall we?
Let's do this.
So,
I'm ready.
The big news this week, kind of personal, tell you the truth.
Uh-oh.
Did some international travel.
Are you getting serious with this?
Well, it's pretty seriously funny in some ways, okay? So, I go do some international travel, and let's just say I'm in Bogota, Colombia, for the sake of argument.
Okay.
And let's just say that I wake up at 3 a.m. pissing blood, just for the sake of argument.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus. Just as a out there example.
Right. I'm not saying it did happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen. But if it did happen, and if the next morning I woke up just chilled, shaking, shuddering with fever and pains in my back and neck and unable to move, barely able to get out of bed, just for the sake of argument, in Bogota, Colombia. What would you do with that information?
I would say that I'd try to find the nearest hospital, but you're in Bogota, so...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
Good
what
luck
do
there,
you
bud.
do? You go to the doctor?
Yes.
The embassy?
Quote, unquote, doctor?
Yes, you go to the embassy doctor. That's exactly what you do. And the embassy doctor does a few tests and says, this looks to me like it could be kidney shard stones. Could be a simple infection, but could be kidney stone shards. So why don't we go ahead and just send you on down to the ER here in Bogota. You just take an Uber on down there. We'll take care of everything.
Hey, on the plus side,
What's that?
Probably less expensive than if it happened here in the States.
It was, as you know, I have good insurance, so it was no problem at all. But if you are in Bogota, Colombia, pissing blood, what you're going to want to have is good insurance. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And a guide. I was very fortunate. The embassy provided a guide and an armored car and all this shit. So I, got the VIP treatment down to the ER. But it was still a trip to the ER in Bogota, Colombia. Where
So
they
no Pablo Escobar treatment for you? No threats?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, so you're going to want good insurance and American citizenship.
Well, that's gonna help.
Pablo Escobar money.
I got either of those, but of those two, I would prefer American citizenship. In any event, so I get to the ER. Of course, they don't speak any English. I speak, poquito, and
that's all you keep saying to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, sir, what is your name?
Let me just say this: had it not been for my friendly guide Luisa, I would still be in an emergency room in Bogota, Colombia. So that happened.
War holes in you.
Yeah. So, in any event, after a series, it was just like an American emergency room in that they made you wait, they poked and prodded, asked a lot of questions, did some vitals, got some more, substances and fluids out of you, then made you wait for another 3.5 hours, and at the end said, yeah, you can take some antibiotics.
So no kidney shards is the ultimate.
Yeah, that's
good.
Yeah. So, and guess what?
You got to up your water intake. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So I started taking some antibiotics, and guess what? I felt better instantly.
Oh, that's good.
It's
Instantly.
called the placebo effect, my dude.
I was just going to say they were probably sugar pills, but it doesn't matter
Well-
because you're in Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah, well,
Antibiotics take a little bit of time to kick in.
that's true. But then, when the blood stops, then you think,
That's true.
maybe this shit's working,
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. So, but that's not even the big news.
Oh, shit.
The big news is that while all of this is going on, Elsie is in Tyndall Air Force Base. She's in Florida.
What's left of Tyndall?
That's right. And she sneaks into the housing area. Well,
No,
perhaps it's,
no, you did not find Fatso.
we found Fatso.
What?
I'm a little sad right now that my thunder's been completely stolen. I thought there was going to be an introduction and I would get to tell my story. But yes.
Well, we'll hear. Let's hear your side of it.
Yeah, let's
hear
go
the
in a little bit deeper. Let's do a
It
deep
looks
cut.
like there was some espionage involved. Let's hear the details.
There may or may not have been. So Brad and I spent the week on a college tour of the state of Florida and visited several places. Saw your beloved Auntie Stella. Stayed the night with her. She's doing well.
Excellent.
Yes, we'll have to make her start listening to the Shinn Show.
Maybe not.
I want you to have a good image of me.
Yeah. I don't know
All right,
about-
fine. That's fair. Hung out with Jenny, Noah's girlfriend, and Noah in Gainesville. And then we drove over to the Panhandle. And let me just tell you, the destruction from the hurricane started like an hour before we even got there. It was pretty crazy.
Wait, can I just ask why? So are you guys doing college tours of Florida because Brad plans on going to college down there?
He gets in-state tuition there because we're Florida residents in Maryland, and he also gets in-state in Maryland. I'm just trying to motivate this kid to even start
Go to
thinking about the
college.
next phase of his life. And we
Cool.
had to get his driver's license, and I had to see my thyroid doctor. There was a million things to do in Florida.
Okay. Florida had it all.
Florida had it all. So we get to Tyndall, and my initial thought was just to see what I could see. And I went through the gate, and they said housing is totally closed. You can't go back there. They're divesting the land. Only emergency vehicles are allowed, blah, blah, blah. So I get on to base thinking I'm just going to go check out some other things. And as soon as I came up towards the turn 2 housing, I was just like, that fucking cat is alive. I just know she's alive. I'm just going to go check it out.
Had a gut feeling.
Range just before where they put the fence, but they didn't fence all the way out to the water. And I knew that at the end of the archery range, you could get to the coastline. So I walked 3 miles of coastline over to housing. Had some crews that were demolishing homes and throwing trees and chippers and stuff.
Was
So I'm
Brad with you this whole time?
No, I dropped him off
Okay.
at the front. I would not have brought a child along on an illegal adventure.
Okay.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's an illegal adventure, but, in the meantime, Brad's off smoking pot with his buddies. So there you go.
Yeah. Right.
No, he was just hanging out with his friend who we all know smokes pot and used to sell oxy, but that's neither here nor there.
That
Coke
is-
and smart.
Everybody. Got into base, and literally 3 houses down from ours, there's crews demolishing shit. So I'm hiding. There's the hill, so I'm staying down below the hill. I'm up to the house. I stay to the far side, and as soon as I got on the side of the house that was safe, that they couldn't see me, there she was. She was right fucking there. So she kind of ran away at first for all of 5 feet, and then she stopped, and I stopped, and I sat down and just talked to her, and she came running over. It was fantastic.
Wow,
then-
that's crazy.
I had to carry her 3
Yeah, I
miles.
was gonna say you gotta extract her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're behind enemy lines at this point. And now you got to fucking get the fuck out of there.
This is some Navy SEAL shit going on.
Yeah, they're not going to believe that you came there just for this cat. They're going to think you came in there with the cat as a prop or something. So good job getting out of there.
Dropping off again. Yeah, who knows?
All right.
That's crazy. I wonder how she survived that shit.
Well, so just for background, okay, I don't know if everyone knows the fact that we've been missing this cat since this cat ran away as we left Tyndall in August. So the cat has been missing for, all those many months, which is how long? 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah.
And,
4 and 4, 8. Yeah.
okay, so 8 months. And then in the meantime, in the middle of that 8 months, there was this thing called a Category 5 Hurricane Michael that blew through Tyndall Air Force Base, meaning we had every reason to believe that she was dead. Because,
She was washed away.
yes, how is a tiny little cat, and as you know, she's a tiny little cat, how is a tiny little cat like that going to survive a Category 5 hurricane?
Did she look hungry? She looked a little famished?
Little
Actually,
Pharaoh.
She was less starved than she had been when we first saved her in February of 2017 as a starved stray kitten.
So the meat was bountiful on Tyndall Air Force Base.
Done good with the lizards. Most natural predators seem to be gone. Yeah, but I had several people looking for her from August until the hurricane. And then they kind of rassled up all the animals on base after the hurricane because other people, as they evacuated, had an issue with their asshole animals. And she didn't show up with that shelter. So I was like, Jesus, this is terrible. And then Peter couldn't find her in November. So the fact that, literally as soon as I got there, she was like, hey, I was like, all right, we got to go.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
That's
crazy.
It's a miracle story. So while I'm peeing blood in Bogota, she's rescuing this cat that we thought had been killed by the hurricane months ago. Unbelievable. Wow. What a week.
So you got the cat back with you now.
The cat is here now. And the only damage that Fatso suffered through the whole ordeal, she's missing one tooth.
Well, she had to earn her stripes out there. Look at her go. Fatso the catso.
Right. Back amongst the living. Don't tell me this fucking cat doesn't have 9 lives because I don't buy it.
What a journey.
Probably
I wonder
anymore. I mean, probably down a couple.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you think? About 6 lives? She's at 6 lives?
She used 1 when she almost died before we saved her the first time. So she's down at least 2 and up to 8.
Yeah, okay.
No,
one
that
for the
was
hurricane.
1.
We got to put that in there. So that's 7.
Yeah,
hurricane
that's
7. I would say a hurricane is at least 2 lives.
I agree.
6.
Does it match the categories? Is that why it's cat 1, 2?
Possibly. If we're doing that, then it's 5 lives right there.
That's a good point right there. So
I wonder what the fuck she was doing that whole time. Like, well, where did she sleep? Where did she hide during that hurricane? And then she just knew to stay around that area. Like, maybe they'll come back, And then you did.
I mean,
that's probably the area she was
wandering.
Yeah, that's probably the area she was most familiar with and knew where the hunting was. But still.
But it was crazy because the 2 largest trees in our yard got demolished. So she wasn't up in the trees. And there was this culvert in the backyard, which is where she decided to hide and not go to Maryland with us in the first place because she's stupid. So she couldn't be down there. It would have been flooded. She couldn't be in the trees because they were gone. I don't know where she went.
Well,
that's fucking nuts.
Spent 5 of her lives doing it, though. We know that. So she's down to 3, but she's back amongst the living. And here she is right up here in Maryland now. So unbelievable story. Catso the Fatso lives, and so does your father.
Back in the realm. Yeah, you're both back in the realm of the living and good healthcare.
That's right.
Plus a couple traumatic experiences.
Well, first world healthcare. I don't know about good healthcare, but whatever.
I don't know. I mean, I was pretty impressed with Colombian healthcare, frankly. So,
well, there you go.
Do they have universal health care down there?
No, they have universal. No, they don't. The short answer, yes and no. Okay, they have universal health care, but you don't want to use the universal option. Let's put it that way.
You want to pay for the private option.
You're going to want to go ahead and get that insurance.
The universal health care is when they take you to the doctor with a K. And no vowels. No vowels.
I feel like doctor with
ATR. Doctor.
That's got to be a character in a game.
Yeah, probably.
Write that shit down.
Yeah.
Maybe the plague. Oh, the plague doctor. I love it.
We'll keep that. We'll write that. When you get some notes up, you write that down.
I got you.
Sarah and I are working on some projects, but
yes.
So that's an astounding story. Yeah. That's really cool. That'd be like a cool movie, to see what Fatso the Catso was up to.
A short film.
Yeah, a short
film. Yeah.
Well, it could be a long film. I believe she went to technical college while she was doing not during the hurricane itself, but in the intervening months.
Yeah, she could have got an apprenticeship somewhere. Yeah. We don't know that. We don't know that there's no way to prove that she didn't do that.
I mean, she had to make a living, so.
It's on the table. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Who can say? No one knows.
Yeah.
Complete mystery. All right, so what about your kids? Did you do anything exciting this week? Like, rescue an animal that you haven't seen for a few years or get ill in a foreign country?
Yeah, I didn't do that. I did literally just walk in the door 5 minutes before this podcast from an MMA judging class Murphy and I took.
Yes. Nick, did you take that also?
I was going to, but then I woke up and I was like, I'm not getting out of bed.
I got it.
So,
So, but we have definitely convinced him to take the next one.
I will take the next one. I just mowed the lawn instead. It's like that. It's kind of the skip school syndrome. Like when I would fake being sick and skip school, and I'd wake up hours later feeling like a piece of shit. Like, I should be doing something right now. So I just did yard work instead.
Oh, good idea.
Which I appreciate. So really, it all worked out.
Oh, you didn't do yard work at your little crib?
No, I did it here.
Yeah, right. You just brought your yard over to her house and did it there. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I did my yard work over here at her house.
Wow, you're magical.
That's what helped alleviate the guilt.
Yeah.
Is the location of the yard work.
All right.
Added a little more, trouble to it.
Yes. So
a little more logistics.
Yeah.
It was a logistical nightmare, to be honest. We won't get into that.
But now it's done. So, and then
my guilt is alleviated.
And then getting it back, that's another thing. But anyway, so tell me about this MMA judging course. How'd that go?
It was really interesting. I learned a lot. I have a lot more to learn if I want to actually pursue judging locally, regionally. But there was a guy who teaches a referee class with Big John McCarthy, who is a pretty famous MMA judge.
I know who Big John is. Did you get to meet Big John?
No, this is like Big John's second-hand man.
I got it. Okay. So allegedly.
Well, no, I
So
mean, you can verify that shit pretty easily. But
we didn't, so.
So I guess it is allegedly. His name was Jalel? I don't know. I have it written down.
Yeah, it was like a strange fantasy characters type name.
Yeah, he's from Canada, so that's what we'll attribute it to.
Right, I'm Jalel from Canada, also known as Big John McCarthy's right-hand man. Don't look it up. All right.
But
no Wi-Fi. All right.
So he, well, actually, that was the whole thing. We're going to get Wi-Fi in this building without calling the help desk. I know, it doesn't matter. But he talked a lot about how the sport is evolving and how, just like the NFL, we're starting to place more emphasis on CTE and TBI, and how that influences a judge's decisions when it comes to judging a round. So between that and the new unified rules of UFC, he kind of walked us through how we should be judging stuff, basically. So he went on a big spiel, didn't give us like you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. He just said, these are the rules. This is how the industry is moving. This is why we're moving in this direction. Now let's judge some fights.
Cool.
So it was cool. So then we judged 3 different fights, went over each round and why we judged them that way. So there was like 15 of us, give or take, in the room. So, the people who scored it 10-9 would go on one side of the room, and the people who scored it on 10-8 would go to the other side of the room, and we would debate why we did it that way and see who was strong in their convictions and who could be swayed.
So were there any rounds that were 9-9?
No,
okay.
There were not 9-9. So the quickest way to explain the scoring is they adopted it from boxing as the must system.
Yeah, it's a 10-point must. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Each fighter must start with 10 points. And then
you subtract based on how bad the other one fucked up.
Yeah, based on these 4 factors, you subtract points. And we are starting to give more weight, so 10-8s and 10-7s are becoming more common than in the old school of thinking of just winner loser.
Got it.
So
the only problem with that is, just to interject very quickly, is that they adopted it from boxing. That's why some of the scoring.
The 10-point must.
Yeah. I feel like there should be a different scoring system for something like MMA.
Well,
but
MMA includes boxing. Boxing
includes
is a
boxing.
subclass.
Yeah, but it also includes Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, and
which is why submissions and grappling and striking are the first 2
factors.
Factors of scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Grappling is huge. So that was a big part of our class, actually, was the people who scored it one way were like stuck because they were boxers and weren't giving enough weight to the grappling and the impact. We talked a lot about impact on grappling. So it was really interesting. It was like a 8-hour, 9-hour thing. We were there 7 to 4:30. So plus a half-hour lunch. So
here's my question to you is, do you think the current scoring system for MMA is adequate, or do you think there should be something that they should make up themselves?
I think there's always room for improvement. I think it's an improvement over the old system of just winner loser.
Yeah.
There's more room for nuance, which we talked a lot about. But maybe in the future there'll be a half point system. Maybe the weights will. Maybe the judges will be forced to actually fill out a what are those called? A rubric instead of just he got 10, he got 9.
I would like that. I would like maybe a point system, like a takedown's 2 points, a reversal's 4 points, an escape is 4 points.
But
strikes are a point.
How tightly was he holding that? That submission hold or whatever.
Well, that's back points. Same thing as in wrestling. When you have control, it wouldn't be back points. But so if you got someone in submission, you got someone in I don't know, let's just say a rear naked choke, and they're fighting it. They haven't submitted. Say there's 10 seconds left in the round. So they're probably not going to get that rear naked choke.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if there weren't 10 seconds in the round, they
might get it. Yeah.
They should get more points for that. You know what I mean? That dude got saved by the bell. If it weren't for that, he had control of the fight.
Well, you could judge it that way. You have to then be able to justify your judgment.
Yeah.
So, and I will say this, it was a lot more difficult because 5 minutes is a long ass time. So you have complete concentration on these fighters for 5 minutes, and then you have to remember for those 5 minutes what your point scoring was.
Take notes.
And then, you can't really take notes because then you're distracted. If you look down at your paper to write something, you miss that fucking headshot.
Well, Joe Rogan mentioned that Eddie Bravo, Eddie Bravo is crazy as fuck, but he is a genius when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When he judges fights, he has both sides, 2 columns, fighter 1, fighter 2, and he's got, head kicks, knee kicks, or fucking knees to the head, takedowns, and he just puts a tally. Every time he sees something, boom, puts a tally by that. And then he goes through and looks and see who had the most tallies in the most categories.
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
That's a little bit much. What? What'd you say, Don?
Somebody said
something.
something.
What did you just say?
Somebody said something. I heard
you said something.
I thought I did. Oh,
it was your own mouth.
Oh, my God. Incredible.
Hello, who's got the TBI here?
Anyway, right. Did somebody say headshot? No, what I was saying is that seems like the most sensible way to do it of all. Is to
sensible maybe, but practical I don't know. Not for beginning judges.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe not for someone who's first getting into it. Yeah.
Well,
but when it's something so natural to you that you can just
Sure.
Well, no. Once
you're using Noah's Nick's scheme, which is more like wrestling where you earn points. I feel like you could just write down a tally. You just know a head kick is 2 tallies, and maybe a knee kick is 1.
Yeah.
And then whoever has the most, there you go.
Yeah.
But there's
this is all conjecture. Who knows what's the best? You would never know unless you actually did it, and then if you implemented something like that, then you got to throw it out the window.
Yeah, they talked a little bit about how technology is evolving to help with actually gambling. So there's these people who say, who have very specific figures on very specific things. Like how much impact a punch had. So people are developing technology to actually measure that, which is, of course, piqued my interest.
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, I am all in favor of robot judges whenever possible.
That's what I was also going to say is when you're talking about a point system, you get a point or 2 points for a head kick, 1 point for a significant head strike. At that point, you don't need a human there. It would actually be detrimental. You could just have some kind of robot, some sort of that could analyze a fight, programmed specifically to analyze, and then it would just take the numbers down. Who had the most significant strikes? Who had the most takedowns? He had the most of this, so he wins that round.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Because why would you want to give all the lucrative action for throwing fights to judges, right?
Yeah.
Let the fighters themselves throw the fights.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
The fighters or the refs.
Yeah.
Well, a ref can't really throw a fight one way or the other.
Yeah, it would be hard.
They can let
in UFC, in MMA,
the easiest way for a ref to quote unquote to throw a fight would be to let illegal shit slide.
But even then, that's not guaranteed. You might
it's not.
If someone's so tough that you need to pay off the ref to have him fucking throw the fight, then maybe the dude who he's throwing the illegal shit can take it. You know what I mean? An illegal head to the knee might just be that beastly that he could take it. I don't know.
Is there such a thing as an illegal head to the knee?
Yes.
Really?
Illegal knee to the head.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can't headbutt.
Huh, got it. You can't.
If you've got 3 points of contact on the ground, you can't knee
A
someone.
head to the knee would still be illegal because that would be considered a
I
headbutt.
see. Okay. All right. So no heads to the knee. Got it. But a knee
Face
to the
to
head.
foot style, how you like it.
All right, face to foot style, how you like it, indeed. So, all right then. So, what do you think? Are you going to pursue it, Sarah?
I think that it will make. I don't know yet. I think it'll make watching the UFC and things more interesting. I don't know how much. It's going to be a big time investment. So
if you pass the test and you're now an official judge, do they put your name on a registry and then just call you up every once in a while?
Basically. Well, okay, so apparently
pay you like $50.
Apparently promoters are the ones who put the names in for these are the judges we want for this fight, and then the athletic commission approves or denies that judge list. So you kind of there's some networking involved, and I don't know how much I want to do that. So
yeah, sounds like a pain in the ass. What about becoming a referee?
Hard
you have
pass.
to be a judge first, right?
No, I don't think you have to be a judge
I'd
first.
fucking love to become a referee. That'd be amazing.
You got to know the sport. You got to usually you have to have some experience in the sport itself.
In the octagon. Yeah.
Yeah. So hard pass for me. That's a big pass.
I don't know. I just think you'd look cute.
I'd rather.
Well, if you took a bunch of different classes, if you took some BJJ classes and some boxing classes, you knew the move.
I don't have any interest in it. I'd rather. I'm more analytical, so I would rather judge.
All right.
Got it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but you would look cute in that striped shirt. I mean,
it's all black, and I wear that all the time. But thank you anyway. I appreciate your compliments.
You also look good in black. True. All right, good. All right, so super. Well, you went to a judging class. Good. Nick, did anything happen interesting to you? Yeah. Did you travel
no.
internationally, rescue animals, anything? No.
No, I didn't do none of that shit. I keeps it boring.
Okay, good deal.
Boring is good.
It is good.
Did you ever go see Eric Andre?
No, I fucking didn't. I missed it. I'm pissed about it. I'm pretty salty.
Were you supposed to do that?
Well, he was just in town. I could.
He let himself down.
Yeah, I could have gone. Saw Eric Andre.
You had it all.
Fucking awesome.
Had it all, and you threw it all away.
Threw it all away, big boy.
All right, so
I profess my ignorance and say I don't know who Eric Andre is.
Well, Eric Andre, I discovered him through the Eric Andre Show on Adult Swim, wherein he is a late-night talk show host. However, his is, I would say that it's a parody of talk show hosts, but it's so much.
It's performance art. It's very performative.
I guess, yeah. So he has these guests on. He has Lou Ferrigno, Steve Shrippa, fucking Jeanette McCurdy. He had Elijah Wood on there. He had a bunch of people. He's got legitimate guests on, okay? And I'm sure that most of these guests, there's a couple that know the deal, but most of these guests just, their agents book this show, and they think it's just some talk show that they go, answer questions about the newest book or movie or whatever the fuck.
But it's not that. It's not that at all.
It ain't, dude. He fucks with them hardcore. It's something different every show, but he always keeps the heat way too fucking high. Maybe he'll have someone burst out of the ground or something, like, and reach at their fucking shoes. Maybe, and Hannibal Buress is his co-host, who's another great comedian, but he's always fucking with them, like, in some crazy-ass way. Make it seem like some dude just ran into the studio and he'll pretend to shoot him and he'll have the fucking blood packets in his shirt or some shit. It's, they got very creative with how they fucked with their guests, but that was only part of it. There was all these segments where Eric Andre would go out into the streets of New York doing fucked up shit, wearing fucked up clothes. It's, any description of it is inadequate to actually watching it, but the Eric Andre show is fucking awesome. Super funny.
It's totally. What was that?
That does sound good. I would watch that.
Dude, watch it. Watch it. It's crazy though. Like they edit their shit and they find a lot of crackheads and just
Yeah, I'm not. It's too out there for me personally.
It's wild. It is wild. So like I've never seen his stand up. So he can't.
You know what it is? It's millennial Maury.
I guess
it's that kind of drama and randomness, and you never know what's going to happen. And there's angry people, and
Maury has absolutely nothing. Like I can't compare.
Have you watched both?
I've seen Maury. That's just people fucking each other or this shit. Yeah, that's just actual or whatever manufactured drama. Yeah. This is like just weird avant-garde type shit. I don't know. It's funny to me. But so anyway, I'd never seen him do a stand-up type deal, and he was in town, and I wanted to go see it, but I didn't. I dicked it off.
Well,
I dicked it off much like I dicked off this training class this morning.
Yeah.
Shame.
All right.
So, that being said, did you see Avengers Endgame yet?
No, I didn't.
No.
I do want to go see that.
It's all sold out right now.
Yeah.
All sold out.
We can all go see it on Friday or Saturday next week and then talk about it on the pod.
Okay, good. Okay. Good. We'll plan on that then. Yeah.
Well, we should. Okay.
Yes, we should all go see it this week. Let's make a pact.
Here's what happened.
I will make an attempt. I'm not making any fucking promises, bud.
Oh.
Wow. Ant-Man climbs up into the anus of Thanos.
And then it's big.
While he's tiny. Yeah, and then grows to normal size. Boom.
Right.
Checkmate.
That's why they call it Endgame. Got it.
Game, set, match. And then he takes the Soul Stone or whatever. Something, he sacrifices his something and brings everyone back. And they all live in a magical castle.
Spoilers right now, by the way. I'm going to be really upset.
If what happens?
If these are real spoilers.
No, they're not. They're fake spoilers. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's a meme.
I don't know.
None of us know. We've never gone and seen it yet.
We don't know for sure. It's the whole Schrodinger's cat type deal.
Right.
Since we don't know that it doesn't happen in the movie. It could happen in the movie.
That's true. That's very true. But at the same time, it's not a real spoiler. Now, my favorite fake spoiler would be if Captain Marvel just comes in and just flies over. And, it's always so complicated, right? There's they're always trying to figure things out. It's, intense. It's difficult.
Did you see Captain Marvel?
No, I didn't see that.
I liked that movie.
Come on.
It was pretty good.
Well, I would have liked it. You know what? You know when the last time I've been to a movie theater is?
Not recently.
Me either. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've been in the movie theater.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
And so as a result, therefore, I did not go see Captain Marvel because as a rule, I don't go to, movie theaters anymore. I mean, it's not that I have anything against.
As a rule.
I mean, I just don't have time. Who's got the time?
Time, it ain't on your side.
No, it's not. It makes me sad.
It ain't.
All right, so does that mean I should go see Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame this week?
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know if anybody's got that kind of time.
Exactly.
Have you got time for that shit?
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Nobody's got that kind of time.
Well, Elsie has done me the favor of joining me in the sound booth. Isn't that nice?
So nice.
That is awesome.
Well, we had tested the microphone that I was using before we started, and it sounded fine, but clearly it was not so fine once we started because nobody heard me.
It was terrible.
That's got spotty internets as you wander.
That's probably the issue. But anyway, so I think it's fair that none of us have seen Endgame. We're going to do that next week. You did not see Eric Andre. So this week we're really talking about the things we haven't seen instead of the things that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I'll tell you about some things I have seen.
Yes.
Not shit.
Oh, no, okay. But I will tell you something about what I read. And what I read was a book called The Water Knife.
I hated that book.
What do you mean you hated that book?
I mean, I fucking hated that book.
How come?
Okay, I liked the concept. I did not like the execution. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I guess I can't say that I necessarily hated it because I do think about it quite a bit, but I didn't like the execution.
All right, so I'm going to just brief people on what The Water Knife is. The Water Knife is a book that posits a future in which there is a pretty intense drought situation, climate change. It's really a novel of climate change. Would you agree?
Yes.
And so in the
climate change in a capitalist society.
Yes. Well, in a radically capitalist society. Yes. And it posits a future essentially in which the United States allows states to control their own borders. And then you've got a whole a real migration crisis in the Southwest where Texans are overflowing into New Mexico and into Arizona and Nevada and Arizona and New Mexico are controlling their own borders and stringing people up and all this shit. And it's really a nightmare scenario.
But so what do you mean by radical capitalism?
Well, what I mean by radical capitalism is that in this imagined future, the federal government is not strong enough to regulate any of the behavior of the water companies that really hold the strings of power in the future where there is no water in Southwest United States.
Okay.
So if there's no water, why are the Texans taking over?
They're not taking over. They're refugees because in this
you gotta go where the water is.
In the future of this book, the Texas coastline has been destroyed by massive hurricanes, and the rest of the state has been basically turned into a giant dust bowl. So Texas has become a vast wasteland.
And so in this future scenario where there's no water, apparently no one's really focused on desalinization. The oceans are shrinking. What's going on?
Oh my gosh. I mean, look.
There is, but it's expensive, and then only those coastal cities control it. There's a lot about they call it a water knife because it's these assassins that go out at the behest of these corporations and cut off parts of the river for them to control. Because if you control the water, you control the power. And so the water knife is like the enforcer for this organization.
For a water company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you didn't. But the bottom line is you didn't like the book.
No, I thought the main character was inherently unlikable. I didn't like. There was some tropes in there I didn't like. The writing was by a mediocre white man. The concept was great. The writing was average at best.
Okay. Well, all right. I thought it was pretty good. Although I will say this. I did not care for the ending at all. Because, all right, I'm just going to, spoilers ensue, okay? So at the end, really, this is a story of water rights. And there's this big mystery and a bunch of murders around these ancient senior water rights, which give people, water rights give you the right. And in this environment, in this society, if you have the water rights, you've got the power.
Yeah.
So these are ancient water rights that are so old that they're only on paper. And the guy who has them last puts them in a book called Cadillac Desert, I actually want to read that book because that supposedly predicts all this. But in any event,
or whatever.
Yeah. But so then after that, the main character that you hated then takes this girl and they jump into the water with this book. This book gets waterlogged. But then at the end of the book, they find the senior water rights in this book after it dries out. The paper is supposed to be 150 years old. If you submerge 150-year-old paper in water, it's not fucking coming back from that, okay? So, yeah. So then I thought, this book fucking sucks at the end of it. That was too big of a plot hole for me to ignore.
So that was the thing, is that they jumped into the water with the water book, with the book of water rights with them, and the paper was sold that it would not have come back from that journey, and therefore that ruined the book for you?
Yes, exactly. You've got it. Yeah.
Let's see where I put this on my shelves on Goodreads.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure I ripped into it.
Oh.
Well, by ripped into it, I mean I rated it as 2 stars.
Oh my.
And what kind of bookshelves did I have it on? Dystopian.
Yeah.
People of color, politics, poverty. Because there was some good stuff about poverty in there.
I thought it was a pretty good book.
Week ending. I put it on my week ending shelf.
Makes sense. Yep. Good call there. Yep. So that's what I read. Elsie, did you see or read anything this week?
I read a lot of facts and figures about various college statistics. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, they went on a college road trip, Brad and Elsie. That's how the whole Fatso thing came up.
Quite.
Well, so Nick, I got to ask you, do you have any questions for us this week? Very important.
Oh, yeah, I got questions. I always have questions, dude. I want to point out to everybody that's important to ask questions, okay? It's important.
You got a curious mind.
It's important to question what your role is in society, in life, in the universe, what the role of the authority figures you have are, what they do for you, where you should park, what you should get for lunch. These are the questions you should ask. Right?
Well, these are questions that I do ask. Should I park here, and what should I get for lunch? Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know about questioning authority.
Before I begin to the questions, I was listening to this guy's name's Graham Hancock. He's an archaeologist and some sort of doctor to some sort of capacity. I'm not quite sure on that.
Yeah.
But he was he was spitting some facts about the rainforest that were blowing my fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
The rainforest is, first off, the Amazon. I'm saying the rainforest.
Yeah.
Like,
the Amazon basin. Yeah.
Yeah. The Amazon basin's huge, dude. It's like the entire continent, or not the continent, but country of India. It's 7.5 million kilometers, I think, which is however many miles.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and the thing about it was, so people thought that the Amazon was uninhabited by humans because the soil was not fertile, like most rainforests. They don't have like crop growing soil there. But and when people came to South America and saw the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest, there was no sign of civilization. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of overgrown shit.
Yeah.
But what's been discovered through the destruction of the rainforest, through a lot of, these soybean farms and cattle farms and shit, they're chopping down all these trees and removing this vegetation to reveal a bunch of ancient civilizations that were in the Amazon basin. So what the guy said, the number he gave was that a city like London in the 1600s had a population of about 50,000 people. And there were many hundreds, at least, of cities of the size of London in the rainforest. And then the Spaniards came through, 1400s and brought, chicken pox and shit.
1500s, but still.
1500s, excuse me, brought chicken pox and shit and the measles and whatever, wiped out these populations.
Spaniards really fucked a lot of shit up, man.
Yeah. Way worse than the bubonic plague. The Black Plague killed 25% of Europe, and the fucking bird flu and the chicken pox, the diseases that the Spaniards brought over to South America, smallpox killed 95%. So,
of the indigenous population. Yeah.
Yeah. And so within 50 years, right, the plants grow back and they take over these cities. So you can't see any, without a machete chopping that shit down, you're not going to see that there was a city there. So it was all overgrown. There's nothing there. But so there's upwards of 20 million people living inside the Amazon rainforest.
There were,
yeah, a long ass time ago. And now what people are discovering is that, so if you have 20 million people in this rainforest, but the soil isn't fertile, how do you feed that many people? There's not that many creatures to hunt in the rainforest, you know what I mean? To feed 20 million people. What happened is that they made a specific kind of soil that has a different microbiome, I think. I might be using the wrong word there.
No, it sounds right. Sounds correct.
Yeah, it has different microbiology, to be certain, than the surrounding natural rainforest. So there was science in these societies, you know what I mean? They figured out somehow, and how they figured this out is still not known, because this is kind of relatively within the last decade or so, newish discoveries. So they figured out how to make a new kind of soil with different bacteria and shit in it to properly build, areas where they could grow crops and feed the masses that they had in their cities. So, fuck, man. What was that like? How did they know? How do they know, man? Where's the science? Where did all the documentation go?
It may not have been documented. It may have just been like common knowledge. Because if you're really connected to the earth, you kind of figure things out by looking at it. Much
That's
like
true.
Matt Damon, who pooed on Mars and made potatoes.
Quite.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Also, they might have Googled it. You ever think of that?
They might have Googled it. They could have been an advanced
The
society.
trees talked to them.
Right.
They talked for the trees.
Right. It was a whole Lorax. There was a society of Loraxes, if you will. Which, why would you? Yeah, Lori. But, actually trial and error. I'm sure that they had the equivalent of some sort of crop scientists in amongst their midst. I mean, it was kind of how you had to make a living. So I'm sure they just, they MacGyvered that shit.
Yeah, they did. And they also there's cities that were facing true north, true west.
This would be a great thing to bring Sandy in on. She did a lot of research for her senior thesis on this kind of stuff. So I feel like I should be able to be more helpful here, since I basically edit all of her papers.
Well,
Right, and yet you just added it. You weren't paying attention. You were just looking for the commas.
I mean, she also talked a lot about mythology and symbolism and that kind of shit, not actual agriculture. You know, she's an art major and not an agro major, but they
so
did have
this
writing
for South American.
Yeah,
what
Central American art.
Well, I'm saying that
And
these
symbolism.
civilizations that they're realizing were in
South America.
Well, nobody knew these places existed
Yeah,
at all. They
isn't that
didn't know
cool?
there was people. If it weren't for these megalithic structures.
But what I'm getting at is that there's European civilization, Western civilization, and then there's the Central American, South American civilization, which are totally different. And yet there are still thematic similarities in their religious structure, despite not having any contact until the 1600s. That was
true.
kind of her point.
That's true.
So,
that's a good point. But that's
my next point. Then I'm sorry, I'm interjecting again. But at least in Central America, they did have systems of writing. It just wasn't, they did tablets. I think a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of that shit got burned. A lot of it got destroyed by Spaniards and conquistadors. But
so I'm betting that the Southern American people, I'm sure. I mean, everybody has some form of writing at some point or another. Is there a civilization that doesn't have a form of writing?
Well, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But
I guess we're all speculating at this point.
My point is everything that everyone knows about Central American and Southern American civilizations, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Olmecs, those are all known and documented civilizations. This shit
that totally new. Yeah,
this shit that I'm talking about in the rainforest, in the Amazon, everyone just assumed that it was uninhabitable by humans, so that there weren't a lot of people there. Some small tribes or whatever, maybe within the outskirts of it. But it's turning out through the destruction of the rainforest. That's the irony of it.
Yeah.
Is that, all these dumbass soybean farms, which this guy went on. It's a bad idea to put soybean farms in the Amazon because the soil is so infertile.
Indeed.
Like you would have to, recreate the soil that was manufactured by these previously thought to be non-existent ancient civilizations, multiple ancient civilizations that lived within the Amazon basin. It's like saying we've mapped all of Europe, but we left, like that whole part where India is, we didn't even go there at all. We left that. So like when you realize how many people were there, now it seems naive to think there was no one living there. You know what I mean? But the fact that those numbers were sustained proves that they had to have some kind of advanced agricultural science
expertise.
All I know is that I want an Indiana Jones movie. Where's my next South American Indiana Jones movie that explains this to me in small words?
Right, Indiana Jones and the Agricultural Crusade.
Dun, 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 dun,
Hey, Indy, look at this golden-studded hoe I found.
Isn't she beautiful?
In the kingdom of the lost ancient diamond-encrusted garden equipment.
There was a movie a few years ago, however, called The Lost City of Z, that's about this guy in the 1800s.
Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
No. Some other dude. Not Chris Helmsworth,
Jax?
maybe.
It was Jax.
I'm sorry. In any case, yeah. So it's set in the 1800s, and he goes off to the Amazon in search of civilization because he strongly believes that it's there. And it kind of ends with him like getting lost on some excursion. But he spent like 30 years looking for this stuff, and he did find clues. So he was like the early believer.
Yeah, I actually watched that on the cruise.
Ah. Isn't it Chris Helmsworth? Who's Googling this?
Charlie Hunnam.
Yes, Charlie. Yeah.
Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh,
or Charlie, not Charlie. I can't remember his name from Pacific Rim.
No, it's Charlie Hunnam, and also Robert Pattinson was in it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And Tom Holland. Those were the stars of the film.
Maybe Tom Holland was in there? I don't remember that.
He's in there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he played Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh.
He played Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's odd.
Shitload of weight.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And also put on an age suit or something.
I don't know what you're talking about. This doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so I never saw that city or that movie. Either one.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I went off on an extreme tangent there about the rainforest, but I have actual questions though.
Wait, so what podcast was that? Who was it? I'll listen to it later.
What
Oh,
podcast?
That's
What the hell?
Joe Rogan's
Oh,
podcast
yeah, okay.
with Graham Hancock. Look, you got it, dude. This guy, Graham Hancock, he's a genius, and he's saying like I don't know. He says a lot of shit that really makes sense. That's ridiculed by, not ridiculed. Well, these days he's being proven to be right. He's been saying for a long time that, hey, like it's stupid to think that there was nobody living in the Amazon rainforest. That such a large patch of land, such large tracts of land would house, up to millions of people. Like,
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad we've covered that ground. I think we've beaten the Amazon into submission at this point. But yeah, it is interesting.
USA. Sorry, I get excited when we beat other countries.
Yeah.
that guy's actually British, but whatever.
All right. Well, all right. Graham Hancock, he's on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, he's on other things. That's just what I heard him on, but it's really cool. That was like a intellectual type guy. So, it was what's
I
the
wonder if he
word?
has a TED Talk.
Questions.
Okay. That was very coordinated. I like that a lot. So what gets better the longer you have it?
AIDS.
Even you don't believe that.
Wow, he just fucking loves that one.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I teed it up for you. You knocked it out of the park.
This is going to be kind of cheesy, but a sense of dedication. Like, so I've been cultivating a daily yoga practice, or at least I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And that gets better and makes me feel better and more accomplished and all that kind of shit the longer I have it.
I like that. I mean, that's true. The longer you do a positive habit, the better it is.
So discipline gets better with age.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Discipline.
Okay.
You're
good.
racking in discipline.
And then the other thing too is money. Money gets better the longer you have it because it through the magic of compounding.
Yeah, that.
Assuming you invested wisely.
It's funny you say that because the correct answer is compound interest.
Ah. Okay. I didn't know I was taking a test today. Another test.
Now you know.
I mentioned last time that I get these questions off of Reddit. Okay, I don't think of these. I do think of other questions I suppose I could write down, but that's square. Who's got time for that? So I get these fucking questions off Reddit, and there's, as you know, on every post on Reddit, there's a top comment. So this is the Ask Reddit. So this is the top answer that everyone voted to be the best one. I'm just referring to that as the correct answer,
I understand.
even though there is no correct answer in an opinion-based question. So the top voted answer was compound interest.
Yes. So let the record reflect that I had both the most wrong answer and the most correct answer.
Yeah. Two polar opposites colliding.
Right.
So
now,
you have nothing. It neutralized itself.
Elsie, what was your answer?
I was going to say wine or, scotch, things that you
That's
want
a good
to
one.
age.
Good. Yeah, those good choices there too.
Good one.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. Next one. If you had to make a toy that all kids hated, what would it be?
AIDS.
Dad, is there something you want to tell us about your time in Utah?
Yeah, he's just afraid to say the real diagnosis, apparently.
No. Right. They just gave me some antibiotics, and my AIDS cleared right up. They told me I just gave me some antibiotics, and anyway, no, just kidding.
They told me I can't catch AIDS twice, so I'm good, right?
No. So what was the
toy
question?
that children would hate if you could design one? I would say something like a vacuum. Anything that's moderately helpful with chores.
That's
A
good
checkbook.
point. A checkbook? What do you mean? Kids would love a checkbook.
It's like an abacus, but you have to balance it.
Yeah, that sounds unfun. So, I don't know, anything involving razors probably. That'd be bad.
No, as a kid, I would love to play with a razor.
Okay, fair. Yeah. How about the Johnny Human Torch Halloween costume?
Starter kit, which is just a little can of gasoline and a lighter, and you just pour it on yourself.
And some cotton pajamas. Cotton pajamas. Don't forget that.
Yeah, cotton pajamas.
All right, good. All right, so what in the world could the top answer to this horrific question be?
The correct answer is a blind bag surprises, but the surprise is that you get nothing.
just a
the
sack.
one under that, which I like better, is a perfectly good video game controller with an input lag.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Press the fucking button. It takes like 5 seconds to respond, and that's the only thing you got to work with.
Yeah, that would be horrifying.
That would be annoying.
It wouldn't work.
I would hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something geared towards you two over there in the DC area being alive during this time. What are some awful things from the 80s everyone seems to not talk about?
AIDS. I mean, obviously,
Walk
that is.
right into that one.
Yeah, you sure did, pal. You sure did.
All right.
Actually, how about the fact that, no one really went to jail for Iran-Contra? Think about this. We sold weapons to Iran in order to fund arms sales to rebels in Nicaragua. Most people don't remember that.
We did that to it's my understanding that we've done that exact whole scheme many times to many different countries. Sell the Contras a bunch of guns, train them how to use them, wait for them to overthrow the government, and then be like, oh, look at these guys overthrowing the government. We got to go fight them now, and give them democracy.
Well, who can say what we've done? But there it is absolutely proven that that's what we did in the Iran-Contra affair.
Okay.
In fact, that's why it was called the Iran-Contra affair.
That's a good answer.
So I think I would have to go with trickle-down economics.
No, people are still talking about that, my friend.
That's fair. Well, Reagan's trickle-down economics.
Well, yeah, now that it's been repackaged and renewed and so on and so forth.
Mikhail Gorbachev's birthmark?
It's true. Horrible. Horrifying. No one talks about it now.
Can you imagine being that guy? You not only find out you're balding, but you've got the worst birthmark under where your hair always hit it before.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of like that, so.
What is it? I don't know about this.
It's just a wine stain. It's a port wine stain. It's very attractive.
Google Mikhail Gorbachev birthmark. You will see. It has to be explained.
Oh, it's not in the shape of a dick or nothing like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I've looked at it that closely.
It's a little bit like Russia on a map, actually. It's giant. It's misshapen.
Huh.
Birthmark. That's
right.
like the fifth thing that... Oh, shit. Oh, but it is right on his fucking head, though.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I imagined it would be on the back, the back of his head.
Mm-mm.
But, yeah, okay. A little wine stain. Not too bad.
I would like to point out that the first thing is Gorbachev reforms, but the second item that Google returns is Gorbachev Pizza Hut.
Oh, really?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't think he ever owned one.
Apparently, there's a Pizza Hut Gorbachev TV spot commercial. Because of him, we have opportunity. Interesting.
Okay.
Look at that later.
All right.
There you have it.
All
Here's
right,
what
so
here's what the correct answer is to that question. 25 cents a minute long distance phone calls.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no one talks about it because everyone hated that.
Yeah, they hated it so much they banned it from the realm of conversation.
It's dead to us.
It certainly is. Thanks, AT&T.
All right, so what's something that instantly marks a person as uninteresting to you? Not like a bad person, but AIDS goes with every answer. I'm starting to realize that now.
You're just going right later.
I'm gonna have to. Dad.
Yeah.
One more AIDS fucking comment, and I'm done for tonight.
All right. Okay. Fine. Sorry. I mean,
I'm not though.
Okay.
Not if
you
it
don't have
worked.
to be sorry. You just now know the consequences of your actions. You know?
All right. That's fair. Then I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not sorry, but I'm aware.
Right. I'm not sorry, but I am woke.
All right, so run it by me one more time.
So, what's something that when someone says or does that instantly marks them to you as uninteresting? Not a bad person, or maybe not even uninteresting. I'm going to modify it a little bit and say something that's like, I don't fuck with this person. Like, we're not going to be buds.
They mentioned CrossFit.
Religion.
They mention CrossFit, they mention religion, or you're right, or they simply talk about themselves incessantly.
I'm bad about that. I've as I get older, I try to be more cognizant of, societal norms and how normal conversations should flow and being interested dialogue. But I talk about myself a fucking lot.
Well,
Dude, I don't even. There's people at my job that they just fucking have 30-minute long fucking stories about all the shit that just such mundane, boring shit that I'm like, how do you even remember this to even say this? Just, I'll be sitting there doing whatever I'm doing, and they're just talking at me, talking at the side of my face. Oh my God, and then I went here, and I forgot my purse, and I fucking spray I did on my umbrella, but then I remembered to do this, I left the cookies in the oven. And I'm like, dude, why do you think, why would you think at all that I care about any of what you're saying?
What did I do to give you the impression?
Yeah, like you don't even care about what you're saying, dude. I can see their eyes just rolling into the back of their head as they talk. It's like they're feeding on they lose consciousness and some other fucking person comes out and talks for them or something. I don't know. But, like, I don't even know what to say about, people ask me, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about myself ever. Some people they just go on and on and on all day about what happened to them on this particular Tuesday. What this bank teller told them for 15 minutes. Hey, I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't give a fuck if I was you and that bank teller was telling me. I still wouldn't give a fuck. So why are you translating this into my life? Like,
the social media equivalent is people who post their dinner like every other night. Like, nobody cares what the fuck you ate. Congratulations, I ate too.
Even if I did give a fuck, I'm still going to forget in 5 seconds because it does not matter in the grand scheme of goddamn anything. But, those people seem happy, though,
All right, that's fair.
Do they, though?
I will say this. If you want to be beloved as a human being, when somebody's going on like that, make full eye contact, stop whatever you're doing, pay close attention, nod, give minimal encouraging, like, and then when they're done, say, that's interesting, tell me more.
Yeah, you know what I do? I actually do have a little script. Like when people are just going on like that, I'll just look at them and be like, I know that's right. Or that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know that's right. That's what I'm talking about. Just cycle through those until it's over.
My man.
My man. I know that's right. That's what I'm talking about. All right, have a good one. And then I'm out of there.
My man.
Thank God, it's over. Fuck.
You know what, though? That's why they keep coming back, because you give them those minimally encouraging answers that tell them.
Because they are a Jerry.
I know that's right. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so here we go.
Yes, last one.
What do you... I actually know this answer for you, Dad, but what do you do when you can't fall asleep?
Oh,
What's a little trick you use?
Me fucking last night. Okay, I went to bed at midnight. Had to be up at 5:30. Do you know how much sleep I got last night?
Probably,
like fucking 2 hours.
Yeah, it happens. Happens sometimes.
You know what'll help with that?
What?
Wait.
Yeah, maybe if I didn't get drug tested, Nicholas.
You can't do that. So, assuming you don't have access to a little bit, wait. What do you do when you want to go to sleep?
Like you said, you already know my answer, which is I count backwards from 1,000. That tends to help.
Yours is the most robotic, boring, suicidal answer I've ever heard in my entire life.
No, while you do it, though, first of all, it's very difficult.
It is difficult. I've tried to do it, and I just start thinking about other shit without even realizing it.
Right.
I meditate. That's what I do.
Interesting. It didn't work last night worth of shit, did it?
Well, I dozed, That's about it. I've got a little bit of a sinus cold, so that's not helping. Yeah.
Backwards from 1,000 does the trick.
Yeah, until you wake yourself up coughing 10 minutes later. So
I start thinking about all the things I need to do the next day that I'm going to be too tired to do because I can't sleep. And then I just get mad. And then I think about more things that I'm not getting done that I should be doing. And I should just fucking get up and I should just do it. But fuck it, I'm tired and I'm trying to sleep. And how am I ever going to sleep if I get up? And then I just lay there and I get more and more mad until I wake up in the morning and don't know how I fell asleep.
Jesus
So you just
Christ.
anxiety yourself into sleep?
Yes.
Right. And she falls asleep through a very, very relaxing combination of anxiety and rage.
All right, that's an ancient Chinese secret. I had
It
not
is.
previously
Pretty
No, that's
well.
like an Irish secret. Okay, let's get that right.
Right.
Well, I think China did everything first, but
All right, you fucking communist.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
That's
Well,
good.
okay. So I'll tell you what I do. I guess I meditate. I just imagine like I try to just breathe, only just concentrate on taking a deep breath for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds, and then just
Right.
keep
Relax
doing that
every
until
muscle.
until I bore myself to sleep.
Okay, well, that's a good approach too. I tend to do the counting backwards with a combination of breathing.
Yeah.
Deep breath.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But do you know what the correct answer is? There's a guy who studied sleep, and he said if you can relax your tongue, because most of us, when we're anxious or struggling at all, will hold our tongue on the roof of our mouth. So if you can make your tongue relax, your whole face will relax, and next thing you know, you'll fall asleep.
Yeah, I have that problem. My just whole jaw will be clenched. I grind my teeth in my sleep too, though. Like there's times where I'm like, and then I just realize my whole body's tensed up. And like over the course of like the next 10 minutes trying to fall asleep, I'll just like have to untense my body again without even realizing that I'm fucking like scrunching up.
That's interesting. Sounds like you're too tense.
Yeah, the tension.
Sounds like anxiety and rage work for you as well.
Yeah, well, they're there. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Well, good. Well, kids, what are we missing?
Actually, I'm going to tell you that the correct answer is your answer, Dad.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
No kidding. Count backwards.
The guy's like, I have the mental equivalent of holding down the power button on your laptop to force shutdown, but it's hella boring. You just count backwards from 1,000 slowly.
Wow.
Slower equals better.
I'll be darned. Well, so I feel really smart right now.
Yeah. You
You
have the
feel
correct answer.
validated.
Good job.
I
You
do.
can now start your week with this sense of validation.
And you had the correct answer before the question even existed in this context. So,
Well, that's
You know.
true. Extra points for me then.
yeah, extra points.
And you know what
Future points.
the best part is? I didn't even say AIDS.
What do you do when you can't go to sleep? I get AIDS.
Maybe next
For
time when I
funsies.
can't sleep, I'll order some food from Ziff's on Grubhub. See how long it takes to get here.
That's a great idea. Don't forget, I don't know how I'm going to tie this in, but let's all take a moment to thank Ziff's, our fake sponsor in Invercargill, New Zealand. Go to Ziff's for a relaxed continental dining experience right there in the heart of Invercargill, New Zealand. When you're done, head on over to our other fake sponsor, The Throne Room. Great tattoos after your great meal at Ziff's. Time now for our weekly shout-out to Ben, our sole binge listener. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. We're watching.
You bet we are.
Even as you listen to this, one of us somewhere is watching you.
So
And
better.
we'll know if you stop listening. Okay?
Sleep with one eye open.
Right. You just count to 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upwards.
All right. So anything else, kids? What are we missing? Were we missing anything this week?
Meh.
Yeah, nothing. All right.
You guys don't watch Game of Thrones, do you?
No, we don't watch Game of Thrones.
All right, fine.
I'm about to
Never
start
mind.
watching that shit.
Oh,
You
yeah?
should. It's pretty
Now I
good.
got the HBO Go information. I got the intel.
All right. Well, you got about 8 seasons to catch up on, so giddy up.
Yeah. It'll be a project.
Yeah, spoiler alert, a lot of people get killed, and,
I heard that. I heard people get their heads crushed and a lot
Yeah.
of,
Yeah,
or
that-
maybe some incest or
Oh,
some to a lot of incest. A
Medium-
lot
medium,
to very
medium to
incest.
intense incestual relations.
There's a lot to vary. Much incest.
On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no incest and 10 being all incest. I mean, it's
Let's say I heard it's a 9.5.
Oh, my God. All right. Good show, kids. A Shinn Show is a production of Shinfluence and features the voices and opinions of the Shinn family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. It's brought to you on a fake basis each week by Ziff's, fine dining and relaxed continental atmosphere in Invercargill, New Zealand, and by the Throne Room, heavy tattoos after your light meal at Ziff's. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get podcasts. Be sure to not write a review, and if you think you're listening to us, go ahead and turn us off right now.